Hi, in this video I'm going to talk about the big astrological shift happening at the moment, which is Pluto is moving into Aquarius. So I'm going to explain a little bit about Pluto, a little bit about Aquarius energy, and then hopefully by the end of this video you'll have a clearer understanding of why this is such a big shift and why it's such a big thing and why you may have heard about it. Why we're making so much noise about it, all of us Astro nerds. So Pluto is this teeny tiny little dwarf planet. It's no longer a planet, it's now a dwarf planet, and it's right on the edge of our solar system. So it's really far away from our sun. So it's this little frozen planet. It's so cold. All the gases are frozen, all the rocks frozen. It's so cold at the moment, they're actually saying, NASA's actually saying that it looks like it's in a death phase, like the planet is dying because the atmosphere is freezing because it's so far away from the sun. But the thing is, we first discovered Pluto in 1930. So we've only been tracking this planet since 1930. And what they've discovered so far is that, using calculations and stuff, that Pluto has this really unusual orbit. It's egg-shaped. It's not like going in a nice circle around the sun. It's doing this weird, odd egg-shape orbit. And it's also tilted. So it's unusual. Pluto is unusual. So as I start to explain what the planet's about, we'll start to get the energy and the feel of what this planet's about, right? So it's cold, it's frozen, NASA thinks it's dying. So there's a few hints of what this planet's about. And then it'll take 248 years to do this orbit, but we've only witnessed this orbit we've only been looking at this orbit since 1930. So for it to do its full orbit around the sun, it will be, and us to witness it, actually measure it, it will be 2178. So we're really only just been watching Pluto for this really short period of time. But because of maths and the cosmos and all of the amazing things that we can equate, we can deduce that the last time Pluto was sitting in the sign of Aquarius was 1778 to 1798. So this was ages ago. The last time we were feeling this energy of Pluto sitting in Aquarius was ages ago. So none of us have felt this energy before. So let me explain a little bit what I mean by it moving into Aquarius. It takes 248 years to orbit around the sun. So this is how long it takes to move through the zodiac as well. And it's in each sign for a really long time, anywhere between 10 to 12 years to 30, up to 30 years. So it can be, it's called a generational planet for that reason, because it doesn't move in a day. It doesn't go around the sun in a day. It doesn't go in a month. You know, it takes years to move through one sign. So it is a big deal because it's a big shift of energy that none of us have actually felt before. So I'll talk a little bit about the mythology of Pluto. So it's a Greek mythology. He's the god of the underworld. So when the scientists discovered this planet and saw that it was frozen or it was like in this death phase, they were like, oh, we got the best name for this one. It's going to be Pluto, god of the underworld. And so then this is the energy that this planet brings into the sign that it's in. Pluto is all about transformation, going into the underworld to alchemize and transform that shadow, transform death into rebirth. He also has Pluto also is known for richness and abundance, because back in the day, the underworld was associated with literally being underground. and underneath the earth there is lots of ore, lots of gold, lots of crystals. There's an abundance of richness in the earth. So this is where Pluto gets this reputation for also bringing wealth and bringing richness. And I guess if anyone has actually had a dark night of the soul or gone into the underworld of their own being, you know, metaphorically, physically, however you want to, you know, interpret that, you know that when you come out the other side, there's a deeper understanding, there's a deeper wisdom, there's a deeper knowing, but you've got to break everything down first. You've got to drag it through the underworld first. So this is kind of this is like what Pluto's doing every time he goes through a sign. So we've just had him in Capricorn. And in Capricorn, he was showing us, because Capricorn's all about the structures. It's the patriarchy. It's all about, it's about that constriction that we need to be able to break through into a new understanding. So yeah, we can see with Pluto being in Capricorn, there's been a lot of restriction. He's really showing us the shadow side of the structures in our society that are not working, the patriarchal systems in our society that are not working. And so we've definitely, I know I've been feeling that, I've been seeing that, where things are just not working. It's like, this does not make any sense anymore. Why are we doing this like this? And it's been, especially in this last sort of from end of December until now, we've been in 29 degrees Capricorn, Pluto has been. And so it's been like that last little push, that last little constriction before we're birthed out into Aquarius. So now tonight, Queensland time, around 10 o'clock, Pluto shifts into Aquarius. And now it's just a little taster. It'll be for March, April, May till June. And then in June, the planet retrogrades, which it's called retrograde because it looks like it's going backwards in the sky. But it's just the orbit sort of shifts the way that we're working with the orbit technical stuff. So then it'll shift retrograde back into Capricorn until the end of the year. And then January 2024, Pluto will shift fully into Aquarius. So we're getting a little taster now of what this Pluto Aquarian energy is going to bring. So we know that Pluto is the god of the underworld. He's all about alchemy, transformation, and the richness that can bring when we go to the depths and we discover that gold within us. And we've been feeling the restriction. We've been feeling that density and that heaviness. I know with a lot of people, a lot of clients that I've been speaking to, they're really feeling heavy in their bodies and just this oppressive sort of heaviness. So what I'm hoping and what I've been sort of starting to feel into this week with this shift approaching is a bit of breathing space. So Aquarius is like the black sheep of the zodiac family. It's the quirky, I like to think of it like he's like a mad scientist tinkering away, making all of these amazing new breakthrough kind of developments. But he's not really one for the limelight, but humanity starts to follow along with this Aquarian energy because they're like, he's doing something different and that looks better than what we've been doing. It looks, like, so he doesn't follow the rules. Aquarius doesn't follow by the rules of physics even, or laws or whatever. He's just about, and I'm using the pronoun he without meaning it to be masculine or feminine. It's just what I'm calling the energy. It can be male or female. Or non-binary. in fact, Aquarius kind of is that unique energy that doesn't need to fit into those norms of names, of gender identifications and stuff like that. They're just this expansive energy, the rebel, the black sheep, the one that doesn't fit into society, but's quite happy to not fit in because they're creating the new. They're coming up, it's expansive, right? So it's coming up with these new ideas, the new way of doing things. It's really revolutionary. It's a revolutionary energy. So one thing that I've really been feeling this week and noticing being reflected in the conversations I'm having and people coming to me with what's happening in their worlds. And I think with the combination of the new moon in Aries that we've had just recently, that fire with a bit of revolution was like, that is so, I've literally been saying this a lot, that's so outdated. That's so last year. That's how we were doing things like 10 years, 5 years ago. We don't need to buy into that anymore. We can just block, delete, because that's done. That is so done. Aries helps to just block, delete, right? It's that decisive energy of just like, yep, we're done with that. But that expansive kind of, we don't have to do it like that anymore. No, we're just not going to play that game anymore. That's what I've been feeling with this Aquarius shift. And so it makes me excited. It makes me really excited that there's potential for such expansion and to bring in new ways of being, new ways of doing. It's like freedom. Interesting side note, the last time, like I said before, did I say it before? the last time Aquarius was in, or Pluto was in Aquarius was 1778 to 1798. And now this was the time of the American Revolution, the French Revolution. Everyone was bloody revolutionizing. But the other interesting side fact is that apparently Uranus was discovered in 1781. So right in the middle of Pluto being, so Pluto hadn't been discovered yet, but right in the middle of Pluto sitting in Aquarius in the sky, an astronomer scientist discovers Uranus. And guess what? Uranus is the ruling planet of Aquarius. I thought that was so cool. Yeah, I am an Astro geek, but I thought that was really cool. So is Pluto happy sitting in Aquarius? Typically, Pluto rules Scorpio. And another interesting side fact, Pluto sits, when he's doing his orbit and he sits in Scorpio, when he's in the Scorpio part of the sky, he's only in there for like 10 to 12 years. So in his, the sign that he rules, he's in there for the shortest period of time because he's doing this oval shape orbit. So, you know, this little short bit here, that's Scorpio. And then these long sections here, where he starts to do like 20 to 30 year stints in a zodiac sign, is his opposite sign, Taurus. So I thought that was interesting in that he's all about transformation and alchemy. So Scorpio already naturally is really quite happy with transformation and really quite happy to alchemize and dig for all those deep, things. So maybe he doesn't need to sit in Scorpio for that long because Scorpio naturally wants to do that anyway. So then he's spending the most time in these signs that, Taurus can be a little bit stubborn, so maybe he likes to sit in there a little bit longer, just holding the bull's hand through the transformation, like, come on, we can do this. So it just takes a little bit longer sometimes. So he's going to be in Aquarius for 19 and a half years. So It's a pretty substantial time. It's definitely a generation. So what you find is that all the babies born from tonight, and then from next year, the next 19 years, they will all have Pluto sitting in Aquarius. So it is generational. So there's a whole generation of babies that will have their Pluto, their natal Pluto, sitting in Aquarius. So for me, I've got my Pluto sitting in Libra. So anyone born around 1980, a few years either side of that, will all have Pluto sitting in Libra. And then after that, Scorpio for 10 to 12 years, I think. And then after that, the next sign, Sagittarius. And then we're in Capricorn. So a lot of your friends will have Pluto sitting in the same sign as you. So it's generational. So what does a generation of Pluto in Aquarians look like? You know, they're the revolutionaries. The babies being born now, total revolutionaries. To me, having Pluto in Libra, it's like transformation one-on-one in partnership. Libra is all about partnership and relating one-on-one. So there's a whole bunch of us that have been born into transforming that one-on-one relationship. And then there's a whole bunch of us with Pluto in Scorpio, transformation, for the sake of transformation. And so on and so on. So now for all of us, it's a real time of expansion. And we'll get this little taste of it this next couple of months. So I urge you to feel into the waters of what's happening around you. What's happening around you, or the ethers, because Aquarius is an air sign. So let's feel into the ethers of what's happening over the next couple of months. And we get this taster of Pluto in Aquarius. So keep your eyes open, listen to conversations. We might get some crazy shit happening in the news. Who knows? Truths may be revealed. To me, it's an exciting time because just let's expand. Let's go beyond. Let's start the new. It's time. I'm so ready. Let's start it. Let's just live in our expansiveness. So I hope you found this helpful. Please leave any comments, questions about this video if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer them. And also, if you do know where Pluto is, you can drop a comment and let's see how many people have Pluto in Libra. Or if you're having a baby right now, you know, this is an exciting time. You're giving birth to a revolutionary. Maybe. We don't know, actually. Like, this is what I assume, okay? But we don't know, because this energy hasn't been felt by any of us before. So yeah, tell me what you're feeling. Tell me what's going on for you. I'd love to hear it. All right, well, bye.